This episode has a guest appearance from none other than Stuart Allity, who promises to be critical of SEC BlackRock. You can now exchange their tangible goods for your own USDC BitBoy. Yes, that is the right amount. The child makes his predictions about the upcoming bull market boom. Robbie Mitchell, the former Ripple employee who disclosed the XRP price targets, will speak to us. Hold on till you hear his words. We have a ton of other interesting content planned for you, such as boy bands, XRP charts, and how narrow the range is getting. Remember that one? Recall the demands that were made of me. I've been talking with one of the best individuals in the field for a good while now. Keith made June XRP travels. Whoa, that reminds me of a song concept. Well, it does rhyme a little, so let's get started. Right now, Bitcoin is up 1.2%. Ethereum is right behind it, with $71,067, or $3,539, in second place. Both USDT and USDC are getting closer to the dollar pegs, having experienced a 0.5% gain. XRP is trying to move in the direction of green today, closing at 61 cents overall. Despite the current state of the Bitcoin market cap, there is no need for alarm. 2 trillion, or 677 billion, to be exact. Look at that BNB 625, please. It seems like I run a little BNB. People, how intriguing is that? Permit me to let me have a brief look. To tell you the truth, I have no idea where I got the absurd quantity of Binance coins I think I hold, which is why I'm here. But it's not in that wallet, or even in that wallet, maybe it's even on this computer. I have way too many wallets. I know I'm the owner of it. I think I have one Binance coin or more somewhere. I'll take it. Complimentary $625 there, we'll go watch your guru. As per our conversation in the initial video, you ought to be mindful of the subsequent details. By Monday, Hong Kong hopes to approve spot Ethereum and Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. This is important to note. This is the size of the ETS increases with the amount of institutional money coming from sources outside the US. As things become more costly, let's Monday, keep a watch out to see if Hong Kong actually approves these Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs. Let's keep an eye on the volume. This is quite positive. Let's observe the amount of money coming into the markets. Recall that Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP ETFs will be received. There are going to be display baskets. A large selection of ETFs will be offered. There, folks, the SEC is doing okay, according to STE Alder. And what do you know? They simply could not win. In the Goel case, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals held that the SEC could not disown the seller if the buyer suffered no financial harm. The court declined to revisit this decision. Going after Ripple was, in my opinion, one of the worst mistakes ever made by the SEC because of their incredible track record. Document executing their earlier deeds. Filed lawsuits against these companies knowing full well that they would not defend themselves because, well, all they had to do was write a letter and hand it over to the firm, which would then get alarmed and send them a huge sum of money, rinse and repeat, company BCD, and they got a little too cocky. They have since selected the wrong fight. The situation has only deteriorated. The legal system has caused harm. Bitcoin valued options are about to expire. 800 million Ethereum options and 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin are set to expire today. These events could cause momentary swings in the cryptocurrency market, so we need to keep a close eye on them. We need to do some investigation to find out what will happen. They do, however, have a set expiration date. Since we have been tracking this pattern, let's see if it is slightly declining or if it is still rising. The latter is more likely given the current state of the market. Yes, BlackRock turned reality into a token. Transactions are expected to be faster, more transparent, and more efficient with the new smart contract capability. Assets can now be exchanged for USDC. The financial system changed after Circle disclosed a noteworthy invention. Tokenized real assets held by investors in BlackRock's Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund can now be easily converted into USDC. This is important because they are creating a stablecoin that will allow people to buy cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin ETFs, by transferring their tokenized assets. The youngster contends that any appearance of ETFs for XRP or Ethereum is just an additional ploy to get users to employ antiquated online services. He claims that these 6 tokens, Bitcoin included, are priceless. Solana, Ethereum is your digital silver. Sushi, come on because the VCs are pushing it. Since the best blockchain is XRP. The case's outcome plus the IPO, I'm not clear how an XRP IPO would appear. Perhaps he's referring to ripple effects. But folks, XRP isn't allowed to do a public offering. Pytha and Oro can go after me. I know more than I should, and just give me a minute to think about whether or not Orno is going to be very wealthy. Orno will be extremely wealthy, indeed. I want to get my hands on some of this. Either way, I predict that BlackRock will be pumping this thing very soon. Even if the all-time high of $5 is approaching, I think this can easily double in value over the next 10 years before becoming very strong. I think I want to get into it, but I'm just doing a little more research. The orange-pilled person was Robbie Mitchell, a former Ripple employee who now serves as BlackRock's head of digital ASPA space. Up until now, the biggest player who could have begun the game has been Larry Thinking. You know that you did not witness BlackRock's loss either. I had my doubts, as you know, but there's no mistaking it. Actually, Larry Frink was really orange-pilling at first. I kind of expected him to jump on it. They might have made a ton of money and had the chance to be the first. Scaramucci answered the same way when I asked him about it. Listen to what you did, he said. This man and I had a conversation in the Four Seasons hotel lobby. A few years back, he asked me, why am I into Bitcoin? It is a scam. Then he mentioned that Mitchnick had relocated to BlackRock and started working there, which is ridiculous that you would even bring up that as a possible reputational concern. And you listen to Larry Thinking now, you seriously orange-pilled him. Talk about it, that's great, tell me when the next Ripple employee is coming to BlackRock. Larry became interested in cryptocurrencies as a result, and he now thinks the industry has a lot of promise. For one moment, at least, if you don't think BlackRock would release an XRP ETF, you have something. I'll tell you when I get there that we've built a network and that Ripples, Kurt, and the BA have a legitimate physical use case. We are and probably will stay focused on digital assets on the blockchain, which cleared 40 markets valued at over $10 billion last year. We'll probably look at 80 markets this year and maybe 20 more. This is important to note. Listen carefully to what she says. That is, I have to say, a really realistic use case. Our network of blockchain digital assets, which we created and are widely accepted in 40 regions, exceeded $10 billion last year. We'll probably double or triple that sum. We're still going strong after a year. Indeed, the discussion is still ongoing. What additional problems with the traditional banking system still need to be fixed now that we've dealt with one? That extends to the settlement of rights, bonds, and other assets. In fact, we are getting into that territory right now. Okay, so how can we apply all we've learned to help solve some of those other problems? And what about the benefits to the environment? In what way does it help there? You've touched on the advantages of the economy and society in passing. Still, the setting is fascinating, isn't it? That's it. That one is actually pretty excellent. It hasn't been talked about much in the industry, but it's starting to come up. Yes, for this reason, we are really proud of the ledger we use for international transactions. The XRP ledger contains no carbon. Where we perceive the benefits is a fascinating subject in business, and I think it becomes evident when you add up all the energy used by the traditional infrastructure and then begin implementing carbon-neutral blockchains, such as the XRP ledger. Has anyone calculated the advantages of that? One development we can anticipate is the ability to tokenize carbon credits on the network. But how are you at Ripple creating these applications that are so specific to the carbon that we have created, and how can we, We currently have a group of people working on multiple projects. Kind of moving into that domain. This new field has a lot to teach us. But since we run on a carbon-neutral basis, we can comprehend that all of the knowledge we possess comes from other places. Ledger, that is quite beneficial. I liken this to our crypto journey thus far, in which we've entered the market, engaged in more talks, picked up more knowledge, and come across some really powerful messages and remarks. Then, though, we examine this. This is the link to Keith's chart. The buying area we're in it, people. This also applies to us. Look at this chart. It provides all the information you require concerning our rise to the top. The summer will be here soon enough. 75 make a brief excursion and then immediately return to stock. By year's end, the upcoming relocation.